أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نويت أربانية أزلنا تخلوا ذريات تصلون حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم الناصر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Our tariqat is based on sohbat, on association. Whose association is it? Is the association of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. The Pir of our tariqat, Shahin Naqshbandi, is saying, only prophets, they give advice. Meaning he's showing us what kind of manners that we should have. Deen in nasihat, religion, it is advice. But he says we are not prophets. We cannot give advice. Only prophets, they give advice. So we give association. We give sohbat. And through the sohbat, inshallah, you will awake. You will awaken yourself. You are training yourself to listen. And not just to listen. To experience, to be there. Because when our sheikhs, they are speaking, they are not speaking. They are experiencing and re-experiencing. And as much as you are submitting, as much as you are holding on to them strongly, they will also bring you to experience that you are not there. You are not there as just watching, you are experiencing. Because one time, there was one sheikh, he was giving a sohbat. And he was giving the sohbat about Musa alayhi salam. And Hizr alayhi salam, talking about what happened in the Quran Kareem, and he was opening it up. And his murids there, they were listening. Yeah? And then there was one person, stranger, coming in, because at that time, the dargahs, when holy nights like this comes, it's filled with people, because they say we cannot come to the dargah every day, so once in a while they come, hoping to get the blessings. So strangers coming in. So that one stranger coming in, listening, and he's saying, Allah, Allah, oh, you Mubarak. He says, calling that sheikh the Mubarak one. You speak as if you are the third of us. Allah, Allah, he's saying, he's listening to the sohbat. You speak as if you are there and you are the third of us. Who was that who was speaking? That was Hizr alayhi salam. And Hizr alayhi salam will appear in front of a believer. Correct? How many times? Once in every 40 days. But because people are not treating believers with respect, so you miss the chance. If Hizr alayhi salam were to appear in front of you, what are you going to ask? Most are going to ask silly things. Whatever that is in your heart is going to come out. And most, whatever that is in their heart, is just simple dunya things. Oh, I want to get married. I want better job. Simple things. That time when you meet Hizr alayhi salam, that one who can grant anything that you ask for. Just like that old couple, they're only asking for Kangal Sujuk. One Sujuk. That's all they're saying. 40 years they're sitting down, having tea together after dinner, speaking to each other. One man, one woman, 40 years saying, oh, if Hizr is going to come, I know what I'm going to say. Oh, I know what I'm going to say. Our Shaykh is our Hizr. It is enough for us. There's more safety there. And you know when you sit in front of your Shaykh, sometimes So many things that you thought was so important to ask, it just disappear. It doesn't seem so important anymore. Sometimes you don't remember anything, and you just want to sit and you just want to look at him. And you're happy at that time. All your wishes already granted that time. And you just want to kiss his hand and go. You think that one is not knowing what you're asking. You think he's not able to hook you up? Of course he is. But when he sees that you are just happy to be in his presence, that is a form of submission. And that time he says, don't worry. Whatever that you are asking has already been granted to you. No one comes in front of us going away empty. Alhamdulillah. Shukr. We are giving thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he has made us, given us time, one more year to see another Laylatul Mi'raj. This Mi'raj must be different from last year's. It is. Every day it is different. If you make it different, you give it value, Allah will give it value to you. If you don't give it value, Allah will value that day and that night. But for the one who doesn't give value to the things that Allah gives value to, holy days and nights happening, it's just the same, year after year. You're not going to make much progress. So our brother has a question, asking, is the Mi'raj only reserved for the prophets? And what about the murids? Do we have a Mi'raj? It's a very big question. It's a huge question, very spiritual question, mashallah. Sometimes we may speak a little bit. Not murids, believers. Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying, he is guaranteeing Mi'raj to every believer. The Mi'raj, he says, is not just for me. But understand that the Mi'raj, no other prophet has made the Mi'raj. Are we understanding? Only the Holy Prophet ﷺ was invited to divine presence. And our Holy Prophet ﷺ, he is saying and guaranteeing that the Mi'raj that he made, it is also for his nation. The Mi'raj, it is one of the biggest miracles of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. It is the event that separates the believers from the munafiqs. Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying, the prayer, the salah, it is a Mi'raj for my believers, for my nation. The prayer itself is coming down during the time of Mi'raj, meaning that the prayer was given 5 times prayer originally. It was 50 times prayer. It was given to the nation. The tasbihs that we make, Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil Azim, wa bihamdi. These are the tasbihs, the glorifications, the prayers of the angels that the Prophet ﷺ, when he went to the Mi'raj, he likes what the angels that they were doing. Some were standing, some were in ruku, some were standing from the day that they were created until Judgment Day, they stand. Some were in ruku from the day that everything was created until Judgment Day. Some in complete sujud until Judgment Day, and they all have their different tasbihs. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ is taking that and giving it to who? To us, to our nation. Wahhabis hate us to say that the Prophet ﷺ is alive. They say he is dead. Hasha, astaghfirullah. Yet no Wahhabi can deny that in the Tahiyat Akhir, before you give salams, you give a greeting to the Prophet that is alive. You're giving a greeting to the Prophet, not only to the Prophet ﷺ, and you address him as Assalamu alayka, the one who is alive. But you are also giving salams to who? 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 Ibadullah Salihin. Who are they? How we may translate? The righteous servants to Allah. That Tahiyat Ahir was a conversation. Again, understanding. Forget about whether we're going to have a burak to fly in the air and all of that. Okay, because all of that was also, you may say it's just a show. Because there is a substance. There was a journey. The substance of the Mi'raj is what? To be in divine presence. Isn't it? That is a substance. Everything else, we're not saying, Astaghfirullah, the Prophet is making a show, but people who want to witness the different alams, to witness the paradises, to witness the Malaika, all that is still a show because the substance, the zat, the essence of the Mi'raj, it is to be in divine presence that no other Prophet was called into divine presence, except for the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But the Prophet is guaranteeing that those ones from my nation, the Mi'raj is also for you. And the proof of that is the conversation of the Mi'raj. When we make the Tahiyat Ahir, it is a conversation between who? Between the angels, the Prophet ﷺ, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that conversation, that substance, you may say, the essence of the Mi'raj, it is repeated for this ummah in every prayer. Just to sit whatever that we have and to think on it. You will get that value. So next time when you make the Tahiyat Ahir, understand that it is Allah who is speaking. It is the angels. It is His Holy Prophet ﷺ speaking. And we want to be that Ibadullah Salihin. Meaning that they are mentioning us. Subhanallah. Allah is mentioning us. The reality is there. One ray came back. So we have that substance. But we have to be awake to that value. If we are sleeping, then we're not going to understand. Because everything else that happened in the Mi'raj, the signs of paradise and all the honor that is given to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that he is also asking to be given to his nation. The more important for these times in this Akhir Zaman is to look at the warnings that when he went to the Mi'raj, that we can take and to apply for this time that is more necessary and more important. And he was made to witness how his nation was going to be punished on the judgment day and beyond in the hellfire on the wrong things that his nation, we, all of us, that we are still doing. You understand that and you take lesson from that, you will have more benefit from the Mi'raj than just to read about the different wonders that the Holy Prophet ﷺ saw. Because maybe that concerns him, it doesn't really concern us. But what concerns us? What concerns us is what he saw us the potential, the possibility of us going out of the way, disobeying Allah and His Prophet's commandments, going out of the way, deviating from the lifestyle of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, going out of the way and being rebellious, and still, understanding still, in divine presence, Holy Prophet ﷺ is asking Allah for forgiveness for his nation. We should not be spoiled. We should say that the intercession that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted to him, we must be worthy of that. You know, when Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, he was commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to go to the paradise of the Buraqs. It's just a paradise. It's just filled with Buraqs. And the awliya Allah, they are saying there are 40,000 Buraqs who are living there. And every one of them have stamped on their forehead, Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. He was told to choose one. He went around, but then he saw one that was not the best, small. But he was sitting quietly while all the rest were very energetic and very beautiful and very powerful. He was just sitting quietly by himself and he was crying. Jibreel alayhi salam thought it was very unusual, went to him and saying, what is the reason that you are crying? He says, 40,000 years ago when I was created, I was in this paradise and I heard the voice saying, Ya Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. From that time I fell in love with the name and my heart is burning for the love of that name. And I couldn't help but cry since then until now. And when news reached to us that he's going to choose one of us to be his steed, his mount, his mode of transportation, I cried even more because I know definitely it's not going to be me. Because of that, Hazrat Jibreel says, now you come. It is not so much of what you do, it is your intention. And when the Holy Prophet ﷺ, in that area right now in Qudus, where the Buraq was tethered, he was tied, and there is a maqam there still. Before that, when the Buraq was brought to the Holy Prophet ﷺ in Mecca, and Prophet ﷺ also had to go through so many tests, before and after. The angels came and split his chest open and took out and washed everything inside. Took out especially from his heart one clot, one piece of blood there. It is not dirt. It is not impurity, because everything from the Prophet ﷺ, it is pure. But this, Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, which with him also was Hazrat Israfil, Mikael, and Hazrat Ridwan, 4 of the archangels, and they brought thousands of angels with them. They brought water from the Zamzam for the well for Holy Prophet ﷺ to make wudu. They brought water from the Kawsar. Water from the Kawsar, don't think it's just water like that. No? It's a substance. Water from the Kawsar is able to transform from this form into a form that can enter into the paradises. Do you understand? Without that water bathing, without that process there, this body cannot enter into paradise. It cannot go beyond this world. This body is not designed for that. So they brought the water of Kawsar, they split his chest open and took out that piece. That piece was not dirtiness, that piece is what causes fear. He took out fear from the Prophet ﷺ, so that whatever that he sees now on his journey, he's not going to have any fear or anxiety or anything. He's just going to have his eyes being focused, and he's not swerving, and he's just going straight. He went through a lot of tests there in the Miraj. There were, once he started traveling from Mecca, there were so many other ones that came close to him, with their mouths spitting out fire to destroy him. Prophet ﷺ was taught some du'as to say, to speak, to destroy them. He passed through several places before he reached to the Masjid al-Aqsa. First stop they went to and they prayed. He stopped there and he prayed. It was Medina. And they went to an area where Musa alayhi salam, he was helping the daughters of Shuaib alayhi salam to give water to the sheep. He was very tired, but he decided to help them. Then he went to a spot and he prayed 2 rakats, which he did, meaning that he's dressed with so many secrets from each spot that he went to. The other place that he went to was the mountain, Tur, of Sina. Yeah? The mountain where Musa alayhi salam spoke with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he prayed there again receiving certain secrets. Then passing by to the birthplace of Isa alayhi salam. Then finally going to that area that we call Masjid al-Aqsa, where 124,000 prophets, in some accounts they say they came out to greet him. And every one of them coming out to greet him, and they were singing the salawats that we are singing, the Salat al-Ummiyah. Understanding that the salawat is a salawat of prophets. The angels have a different salawat for him. The animals have a different salawat for him. The fish in the sea has a different salawat for him. And the prophets have a salawat for him. And they were giving him that salawat. He wanted to enter. He said, let the others enter before me. He said, no, you enter, you be the imam, and he prayed. All 124,000 prophets took bayat with him. The ladder then came, then he went. It's a long story. But in that journey, there were tests. In that journey, when he was riding the Burak, he heard a voice saying, Ya Muhammad, alayhi salatu wasalam. He didn't turn. Then he had another voice on his left saying, Ya Muhammad, I have to ask you something, please. He didn't answer. Then he saw an old woman wearing very beautiful clothes, wearing diamonds and jewels, and saying to him, Ya Muhammad, stop, I have to ask you something. He didn't stop. He went. And he saw an old man walking with a cane, looking very miskin, and saying, Ya Muhammad, please, I need to ask you something. Please help me. He didn't stop. How does he know not to stop? He is the one that answered every salams from everyone who came. He was the one whose heart is softer than any mother. After they passed, then he asked Jibreel alayhi salam, because those 4 archangels will also accompanying him. And Jibreel alayhi salam is saying, it is known to you, Ya Rasulullah. It says the first one, it was unbelievers who asked you to stop. If you had stopped and spoken to them, your whole nation would have turned to be like them. The old woman with the makeup and the clothes and the jewels, that is dunya. Understanding that that time, 1400 years ago, the dunya was already old and sick. And if you had stopped to give salams back to them, your whole nation, until Judgment Day, they would have fallen and sunk into this dunya. And that old man, that was shaitan. He knows that you are merciful and you are kind and you are soft-hearted. That's why he took the form of a man who is sick and in need of help. If you had stopped, your whole nation would have followed shaitan. Why am I saying this? Prophet ﷺ was put on a test. Habibullah. He was tested by Allah. Now, if you ask me, do you want to go on a Mi'raj? I say, no, thank you. Do you understand? I'm happy behind my Shaykh. Wherever he goes, I will be. Inshallah. Because it is not easy. Forget about Miraj, just coming to the Dargah, so many of you. Tell me you are not put through the test. Some almost never made it, some didn't make it. When it comes to Dargah, then other things start pulling you left and right. And what about the Miraj? Ooh. By ourselves, we're not ready. We'll never be ready. So by ourselves, if you ask me, let me, if I'm not living in the Dargah, for instance, then I'm going to say, let me make my, well, you don't come to the Dargah night time. You cannot say Isra. Okay? Let me not make my journey to the Dargah go through any difficulties. Let me not fail in the tests, because yes, it is a pilgrimage. If you are awake, if you are looking at the signs, if you are understanding, if you are sleeping, if you don't have any belief, it's just like taking your car and just going driving. But do you understand? You're going somewhere for the sake of Allah. Do you understand how many shaitans are waiting for you there? Do you understand how much power now that Shaykh has to have to pull you through? So inshallah Rahman, we start from little, from small things. And that time we can make the big journeys. That Burak, I was going to say, when Holy Prophet ﷺ was going to jump on the Burak got very nervous and backed away. Hazrat Jibreel ﷺ was upset with him. It's like, what are you doing? How dare you do something like this? He's saying, forgive me, I'm very shameful, but I was just thinking. This Burak is actually very slick, he's very smart. Usually when Shaykh Effendi says, those ones who are short, how you say in Turkish, short, if they are short, if you say the example, they are 5 feet, they have 5 feet plans underneath, okay? But only the small ones. Big ones, different. So, you see? That one was saying, I'm just very sad because on the day of judgment, he's going to ride a different Burak, not me. So I'm very sad that this is it. This is just going to end, just like the Holy Prophet himself says, don't worry, I'm going to ride on you on the day of judgment. So he's very happy at that time. And the Prophet ﷺ thinking, saying, how I can be riding on this Burak when my nation on the day of judgment, they have nothing to ride on. The day of judgment. The awliya Allah, they're saying, is 50,000 years. Do you understand? There are, I believe, 5 stations. And each station is 50,000 years. And just to cross the Sirat is thousands of years to cross the Sirat. This is real. That's why you need a Burak. Because the Burak, wherever the eye is seeing, it is already there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heard the dua of the Prophet ﷺ, and he made Jibreel ﷺ to say, Ya Muhammad, don't worry, it is already granted to your nation. They are going to ride buraks, so they don't have to wait. They're going to arrive to the day, on the day of judgment, to that place, like the prophets. We're not worth that. Make ourselves to be worth that. But what is the Burak? Shaykh Effendi, the awliya Allah, is saying the Burak, it is your ego. That Burak is your nafs. If you are riding on your nafs now, you will be riding that on that day of judgment, no problem. But if you're not riding on your Burak now, you think that time the Burak is going to allow you to ride, you're in big trouble. We're going to be in big trouble. How are you going to train your Burak? How are you going to train it? How are you going to ride on it without a guide? Impossible. And if you have a guide and you're being rebellious to the guide, it is double impossible. Yeah. So, we still want to go. Only behind our Shaykh, inshallah. There's so many things that happen on that day. Oh. We can take, and we share and this support we can open, but these kinds of things, you need days to prepare, and you need hearts that are at rest to be able to speak. So many of your hearts not really at rest because you're looking at the time, because you have to go. That is the reality. I know your intention, so many of you, is to stay, but we cannot open that kind of sohbat if it's okay, very nice, yeah, but look at the time. I have to go. So maybe we just reserve to the people in the dargah, if they come. May Allah forgive me, inshallah. May the highest praises be to our Holy Prophet ﷺ on this holy night only for him, and to our grand Shaykh, and to our Shaykh, inshallah. We ask nothing but their intercession, dunya and akhirat, to accept our weakness and not to open it on the day of judgment, to make us to become better ones, clean ones, strong ones, the ones who have no fear of this dunya or anything else except for Allah, His Prophet, and our Shaykh. To take out hypocrisy from our hearts, to kick out hypocrites from our Jama'at, and to bring good people in, inshallah. We're asking only Allah through His Prophet and our Shaykh, inshallah. We're admitting our own weakness and our own dirtiness. We're asking Allah to clean us. We are so weak, we have no power over our creation, over our death, or over us rising back up again. We're asking the owner of everything, to always make us to be in the Sirat al-Mustaqim under the flag of Sahib al-Saif, dunya and akhirat. Wa min Allahu tawfiq, Hurmat al-Habib, Hurmat al-Fatiha. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This much is enough, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. It's already late.